As kids, we were told to dream big and that we can do anything that we put our minds to. Somewhere during adolescence, that dream is lost. The Dreamer series will introduce you to an eclectic group of dreamers who will share with you their highs and lows as they walk you through their journey to success and living their dreams.
What would be your advice to those who are watching?
Excuses always sound good to the people that make them.
I'd rather be the guy dropping the pass but out there going full force for my dreams and goals than ever being on the sideline.
Educate yourself as much as possible and be okay with falling flat on your face, but don't stop trying.
Come with me as I travel the country introducing you to those dreamers who will inspire you to live the life you are meant to live.
As both a chef and an entrepreneur, Penny Davidi is a force to be reckoned with both in and out of the kitchen. This Food Network star has conquered just about every food reality show there is. She has also jumped across the dial with appearances on Spike and several Bravo shows including Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules. When not filming, Penny finds the time to consult on some of the biggest restaurant openings in Los Angeles. Never one to mince words, Penny opens up to me about her struggles after divorce, her career transition from healer to chef, and her unique insights and life lessons. Penny,
Brian.
you and I know each other too well. Thank you so much for doing this. It is an honor to have you here.
My pleasure.
I haven't seen you with this on.
No, and it's getting bigger and bigger, which I love.
I know, because you're vanishing quickly.
Yeah.
You look great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Of
course.
Hamptons 818. What is the story behind this? What is your relationship with Hamptons 818?
Well, Hamptons 818 is this fabulous place in Sherman Oaks that I was very hands-on in developing their menus.
You don't mind if I sit this?
No, please. Okay. Developing menus, developing recipes, really helping back of the house, front of the house to create this Hamptons environment in the Valley. And we're here on a Sunday and it's busy and great dishes are coming out, so I'm excited.
There's a lot about this place that I love, which I'll go into depth later. But for those that are listening to this that don't know you, because I know you have such a fascinating story.
Yes.
And if we're going to talk about you being a chef, if I had to put you in a lunchbox and deliver you to somebody, if you had to give me a brief synopsis of who you are.
Wow, I don't know if the lunchbox is big enough. I need a briefcase to be delivered, my dear.
Okay.
Penny can't be fit into a lunchbox, and a square one at that. I think that's the best way to describe me is can't put me in a lunchbox.
Give me some of your backstory though, like tell the people who you are.
So, my background, which is really interesting, I had nothing to do in the food world. I mean, I come from a medical background. I studied Chinese medicine and acupuncture and Oriental medicine for years, practiced it for 12 years.
Cupping too as well?
All of that, cupping,
really?
Herbs, you know, just an amazing, amazing experience. And it really is life-changing. To study the Chinese arts is life-changing.
So did you have like some sort of entrepreneurial background growing up?
You know, it's not that I had so much of an entrepreneurial background. I'm very driven.
Yeah.
And
where does that drive come from though?
The drive comes from it's like wanting success.
Yeah.
You know, my father's a doctor, my mother's a businesswoman, and that's the life that I knew.
Okay.
And when you are raised around that, you want to succeed to be a part of that. And when you're exposed to a certain lifestyle, you want to be able to do that yourself. And you want to push. But a lot of times we fall into these patterns where, you know, we meet people, we fall in love, we get, you know, whether it's marriage or a relationship or whatever it is, and someone else is taking care of you and you're not standing on your own 2 feet. Well, for me, once the divorce kicked in, I could have gone 2 directions. I could have curled up in a corner and said, that's it, life's over, you know, and shown something totally different to my kids. But I used that fire, right? Or I used the fuel to light my fire and my passion and my drive to be like, you know what? I'm going to show the world wrong.
Wow. I have a question. I would normally not ask this on the Dreamer series, but because this is you, I'm curious to know, you know, a lot of times it has to take us hitting rock bottom, so to speak, to get that fuel to propel us moving forward. How do we utilize like experiences like that from a normal standpoint as fuel to keep us keep us going?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, you have to know how to put things in compartments, right? That's prioritizing, knowing what compartments need to be where, and even prioritizing those compartments are important. A lot of people, after major tragedies in life, lose it. They lose their drive to move forward, they lose their passion and zest for life, and it's a mental choice that you have to make and say, you know what, I'm better than this. I can do this. I created a vision board for myself, and I so highly recommend this for your Dreamer series. This is a big thing.
Love it.
You just go to your arts and crafts store, and you pick the background that you want. And I always tell people, because I suggest this to a lot of people now, stay away from the white cardboards. Go with color, something that's representing who you are. Start with yourself at the center, which is a photo of you, and just build photographs or pictures or images, and then just have that. I have that in my bedroom. I have my daughters each have it in their rooms, and use that vision board to just remind yourself every day that this is what you want and this is where you're going. It's so easy to be stuck in our day-to-day.
So speaking of where you were going, now take me back to you growing up. What was your dream growing up? Did you have this one thing that you wanted to do, that you knew that you wanted to do?
Believe it or not, I wanted to be a dentist.
Wow. Is it because your dad was a doctor?
My dad was a doctor, and I had fascination with teeth. Like not an oral fixation, but like a fascination with like perfect teeth and a perfect smile. So I wanted to become a dentist. And then my parents, unknown to me, paid a dentist friend of ours to hire me. They didn't tell me this until years later, because I was really young, and I was dental assisting for this like very well-known dentist in Beverly Hills, and I was like, here I am, 16 years old, and this guy hired me. No, he didn't.
So speaking of food fixation, I think
yes.
you have something here.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
Look at that.
What is that? Tell me
let's start with this, because this is the perfect French toast. And what makes it perfect is you've got this beautiful Texas toast, beautifully battered, and then deep fried with some cornflakes.
Well, listen,
right?
I've been on this vegan kick, but because
I feel as
if I would be disrespecting
right, you would be.
if I didn't
you
do
would
it.
be.
And I love cornflakes.
So,
from Alabama.
Hey, listen, it's healthy. It's grains.
We love cornflakes in Alabama.
So,
okay, so we're moving this one.
Yeah,
out of the way.
we're moving this one out of the way for a minute. This is the perfect protein platter. So you've got gorgeous kale, some dried cranberries, beautiful cherry tomatoes, and of course a beautiful pan-seared piece of salmon. Look at how gorgeous that is.
I've never seen kale look so good. So what I think I'm going to do, for the sake of this, I'm going to taste that, and then I'm going to eat this.
Absolutely. Go for it. All right, here we go. Don't forget.
Taste test here?
No, you got to pour some of the syrups, and you got to get the parts that have the creme fraiche with the lime, the lime zest in it.
Okay.
Okay, wow. I'm dying here. Yes, not for me. My mouth is watering just.
Pull the camera close. Doom, 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 doom.
Fantastic, right? Throw the mic down. It's incredible.
Wow. And I love French toast. And we go one more side. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, get all the fruit and the cream.
Okay, Penny, this is the last one.
That last one.
Yeah.
Last one. Right? Beautiful on your palate. Sings, dances.
Wow.
You feel alive. This French toast is life-changing, and it's only here at Hampton's 818.
We gotta have somebody else eat this. I can't do it. Oh my God.
All right, now that's the good, healthy stuff. Do you need to cleanse your palate for a minute?
Should I?
Yeah, cleanse your palate.
Oh,
yeah.
What is this?
it tastes like greatness inside of a.
It's a
champagne glass.
watermelon prosecco.
Huh.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring some of the Mediterranean flavors, and you know, we're moving past the pomegranate, and I'm trying to get people more used to watermelon drinks.
One, this is amazing.
Yes.
Two, speaking of culture, what is your ethnicity? Like, tell people a little bit about your culture.
So I'm Iranian,
Okay.
and moved away from Iran when I was 5.
Really?
Move-
Do you remember anything about Iran?
I remember a lot. I mean, you know, grandparents, grandparents' homes, just little its and bits of things here and there, but and some of it is not so positive because when I was there, it went right into war, right? Right?
Wow.
And the whole regime and everything that changed. So we kind of left right around then, right at the beginning in 1979, and moved to Israel. Lived in Israel for a couple of years.
Do you remember anything about that?
Yes, I do. My sister was born in Israel, and it was a time where all the family just gathered from Iran, and everyone was living in Israel. It was a great time, a lot of fun. But again, I was very little,
Yeah.
you know? And then we moved here.
Wow. California, how is it different versus being in Israel?
You know what? There's a lot of similarities, right? But Israel is such a small state, you know, such a small state. And the biggest things that I could remember that would be different are culinary-wise. You know, there's no massive size supermarkets over there. Everything is mom and popped. Little, you know, you've got your butcher, your baker, your cheesemonger, you know, so it's things like that. Different cultures.
Now, growing up with your mother being a businesswoman, I mean, was there something about your culture or your mom or your grandparents or anybody, any sort of influence that you can think of that, like, maybe, you know, somebody that cooked that?
Oh,
gave you some sort of
absolutely.
influence?
Absolutely. My mom being a businesswoman and not home was the cause of me spending a lot of time with my grandmother, her sisters, their daughters, and a lot of cooking.
Wow.
So you know, she would put me at the kitchen table with her, and she would wash herbs, you know, like mint and dill and parsley and cilantro and radishes and all these herbs, and she would lay it out on a big towel, and from that she would take parts and turn it into like a souffle mix, or she would take parts and turn it into a stew. So I fell in love with herbs watching my grandmother wash these things on a regular basis, and I learned prepping from her because that's, you know, she was like, you know, we're gonna make these cutlets and set them aside. So, I mean, it just was an incredible time, but she was my biggest inspiration. My grandmother was my biggest inspiration.
So tell me this, when you made the transition from owning your own company to now going to work, well, you had your franchise, you eventually franchised, okay? What was that transition like?
Well, I remember being in Turkey in 2008 on a holiday, and it was maybe 4 a.m. and, you know, Turkey doesn't sleep, you know, it's up 24 hours. And I remember getting a phone call from one of my employees saying, we ran out of cheese. And I thought, wow, I'm here all the way on the other side of the world and you're calling to tell me you ran out of cheese? This is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. And it was at that moment when I came back, I said, I need to sell this business and go live my passion and live my dream of building an empire on the Food Network.
Really?
And that's how the Food Network came to be.
Real quick, take me back. What experiences did you take from owning your first business over to Pizza Rustica?
Well, whether you're healing people through medicine, right, or healing people through food, it's the same process. how do I connect with this soul to heal them so they're not coming back with the same ailment? It's a whole different mindset. You know, the 5-element theory of fixing problems at the root versus just fixing, you have a headache, let me just give you some aspirin. What is the cause of that headache? Let's look at the root. So healing through a process, moving to food was healing through food for me. So it was really easy to make that connection.
How did the dream of the Food Network come about? Where was this birthed at? Was it a moment? Was it a person? What was your influence for that dream?
You know, in the pizza places that we had, I always had Food Network on TV. And I would always watch Chopped and say, you know what, I can do that. That looks fairly easy. Or this is what I would have done with that chicken in a can. Or, you know, this would have been a better play. And I just went from, I could have done that, or I could do that better, to I'm doing that. I didn't even have any deal, any connection, nothing happening on the Food Network. But I started telling people, my business partner and my best friends thought I was crazy because I was like, oh, I'm going to be on that show.
Wow.
I hadn't even tried out.
Wow.
But I was like, I'm going to be on that show. I'm going to do that show. And I really put it out, I feel, into the universe.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. You create.
Yeah.
So I brought to life the Food Network.
So it was something about the Food Network that inspired you while you had it on, while you were in your restaurants, that said, this is where I want to be.
Right.
This is what I want to do. And you went out and did it. So how did you go out and do it?
So really quick, so having the programming on in your place of business at all times is no different than creating the vision board we were talking about.
Got it.
Right? So that's the vision board. Now how do you translate that? Because the Food Network's not going to come looking for me.
Right.
And there's millions of people who want to be on television. So how do you take that passion? And again, it goes back to, I could sit in a corner and curl up and say, oh my God, this scary big thing is never going to happen. Or I can try. Because when you stop trying, you might as well be dead.
Wow.
Right? So what's the worst that could happen? Oh, I didn't make it. I don't get on. So you try. And I tried out. And I tried out for a couple of shows before.
Did you get an agent? Did you get a manager?
Nothing. Nothing. I just went on Food Network, looked at their casting opportunities. I tried out for Hell's Kitchen. I tried out for MasterChef. I tried out for The Apprentice. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not giving up. Then the Food Network star came up. And in 2010, I said, you know what? I'm going to give that a try. And I went in having no culinary school experience, but food and my culture, my passion. And it was really the passion that came across on camera to the producers, that when they asked me to identify the body parts of the cow, I just laughed through it and I made them laugh. And I was comfortable with, you know, being silly in front of the camera and just being myself.
I like to have teachable moments here on the show for the Dreamer series, and this is a real teachable moment because what you did was you had no experience whatsoever.
None.
But you had a vision.
Passion.
And you went in, and you went out, and you actually executed the vision. So for those that are listening to this right now, what would be your advice? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the Food Network or wanting to be a chef, but maybe going out and pursuing that dream. What would be your advice to them?
I would say take 30 days and educate yourself as much as possible about whatever that vision is. Whatever it is that you want to do. You want to wash cars for the rest of your life? Take 30 days and study that. You want to be a nurse? Take 30 days and study that. You want to teach? Take 30 days and really commit. Committing is the most important thing. Once you've done that for 30 days and you decide after 30 days, this is what I want to do, use that as the fuel, as the fire that you need to go out and make it happen. And be okay with falling flat on your face and hearing no, but don't stop trying.
Was there ever a time that you fell flat on your face while you were pursuing this whole Food Network?
Well, when I tried out for The Apprentice and I didn't make it on, I was devastated. because I had spent a week, the final week, with, believe it or not, you know, Mr. Trump and the whole production team, and really thought I had it down, but I was devastated that I did not make it. But I always kept this in mind. There is a bigger purpose. There is a reason. And when I got on the Food Network, I found out, and this is what they said to me, is that had you had done The Apprentice, we would never take you on the Food Network.
Wow. What does that say for you? What is the teachable moment for people here?
That when you are given a sign, when you are given a direction from up there, that's where you're supposed to be. Trust that he's got your back, follow the journey, believe, don't lose faith, but never give up.
Wow. And sometimes we're so fixated on the opportunity that we really want to pursue, and that maybe it's not for you.
Right, right.
And
but
that
you
wasn't
don't,
for you.
and it wasn't for me.
Wow.
But you don't give up.
So now you're at the Food Network.
Yes.
How does this happen? How does this come to fruition that you actually win the competition and become who you are?
You know, I did not win Food Network Star, but I was the biggest personality.
Wow.
Because I owned this personality. I owned who I was.
Is that you in general?
That's just me in general.
Okay.
And I wish I could say it's something that you can teach people, but I own and I embraced it.
Wow.
And afterwards, when they made me out to be the villain of the network, again, could have gone two ways. I could have curled up in the corner and said, oh, that's not me, that's not what I want. Or I embraced it, and I embraced it.
Wow.
And that led to more TV opportunities, more sponsorship opportunities, growing that brand presence, and moving forward day by day. And that's how I found you, right?
And that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. But for those that are listening, it's so paramount for people to focus on that you didn't win the competition, but you were in the building.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that says something. You were in the building, you were yourself, and you were present, and you made the most out of that particular opportunity.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I think because we live in such this culture where it's like instant gratification, we want to win this, we want to do that, we want this, we want that. You were there. And just by you being you, that led to all of this.
All of this. And, you know, I do so much more than the winner.
Wow.
And that's just because I don't give up. I push forward every day. And I just living the dream.
Wow. Speaking of living the dream, what kind of opportunities has you being on that show, has it given you now?
Well, besides the fact that it brings to fruition other television opportunities, it also has me involved with one of the biggest food distribution companies in the world. I get called upon to develop menus, create restaurant concept, train, develop recipes, and have a lot of sponsorship opportunities that come my way to really say, you know what, these are the best cranberries on the market. Or, you know, like with what I do with, you know, whether it's Sugar Fruit or United with Their, you know, Earth, or any of the other sponsorship opportunities that I have, I get the opportunity to really play with the products and see what's innovative, what's trending, and bring that to life. And one of my, you know, most exciting things that, you know, in my life that's happening right now, which again, I brought that to life, is production.
Wow. Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe often, I'm not sure. But I want to know, for those that are listening, there are a lot of people out there. I feel like the culinary industry has become really glamorous right now. I feel like it's like comedy. They're all ascending to new heights, new levels. They're very popular. There are a lot of people out there, Penny, who want to be a chef. Maybe they're listening to this, or maybe they don't know if they want to be a chef. If I'm wanting to be a chef today, if it's my goal, what is your advice?
You decide to run to a culinary school and put your money in that education. I highly recommend that you take a dishwashing position and start from there. in a restaurant, whether you're washing dishes, you are serving, you are a sous chef, you're cleaning vegetables, chopping vegetables, anything, get something in the restaurant industry to confirm that that's what you want to do. And start with that.
Why do you say that? Why the dishwasher? Like, why?
Because you need to look at every aspect of a restaurant, and if you are in the dishwashing sector and you're looking, you know, at what's to come ahead, and that makes you excited, and you can deal with the present of washing dishes to get to that next step, you're in the right place.
You want to drop the mic now? Ladies and gentlemen, Penny Davidi. Penny, I want to thank you so much for doing this. I mean, I think that advice is something that a lot of people need to hear. You know, like not just in the chef realm, starting at the bottom.
Right.
I mean, I think about my story, my journey of coming out here to Los Angeles. I don't even know if you know this, but I came out here with $325 in a red suitcase of just wanting to learn, starting at the very bottom. So it says a lot because you get a chance to learn and see, you know, the vision in its whole entirety.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely, my friend.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Penny Davidi, ladies and gentlemen.